Since the time my parents gave birth to me, I've never seen a pair of special agents as terrifying as these two. They look gentle, but actually, they often execute terrorists. No matter how tough and fierce gangsters are, they get punched. If they act crazy, they get beaten. And if they look annoying, they get hit. Soldiers are not to be counted. Once a fight starts, those bastards will befriend coffins. The two are like a pair of iron fists, smashing thousands of criminal organizations for the government. Though they fear no one, there's a dumbass gang daring to harm their two children. Moreover, they have an extremely wicked scheme to terrorize the whole world with just one chip. So how will that journey of revenge and rescue unfold? How terrifying is this dark web mafia organization? I invite you to watch a Blockbuster released in 2025, which made hundreds of thousands of viewers sell their houses to buy tickets at the theater named Back in Action. In the bloody underworld of Eastern Europe, there's a notorious internet mafia syndicate led by the terrorist kingpin, Balthazar. Wherever they go, blood flows like a pond, and no force dares to challenge them. Balthazar was once a top spy for the Russian Federal Security Service. However, due to his extreme dissatisfaction with the regime and being blinded by money, he became the most terrifying crime lord in the world. With his henchmen, who are all elite assassins, Balthazar fears no one and even manipulates all government officials. It turns out that the reason he's so confident to reign supreme is that he possesses an incredibly terrifying superchip key. It allows him to infiltrate and control any system in the world with just a few clicks. For example, he can black out an entire city, open the floodgates to let the Atlantic Ocean drown the foggy city of London in a heartbeat, and even control nuclear reactors or the military's advanced ballistic missiles. Even more terrifying, once this key has taken over a system, only God can save it. It makes the top hackers of the U.S. National Security Agency look like useless, incompetent fools. Faced with the power and audacity of the kingpin Balthazar, the CIA has decided to eliminate him and confiscate the superchip key to prevent disastrous consequences. The agents believed to be capable of carrying out this dangerous mission are the unlikely duo, Matt and Emily. Since joining the CIA, the two have smashed the faces of thousands of gangsters and sent countless terrorists to their doom. One day, after they just had a passionate night, Matt receives a call from his superior, Chuck. He informs them that they need to act quickly and that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Emily just found out she's pregnant, but still has to go on this important mission. However, she doesn't tell her black partner right away, deciding to deal with the kingpin Balthazar first and then figure things out. Arriving at the villainous old man's mansion, disguised as Brazilian arms dealers, the two confidently enter as if they own the place. Turns out, it's a party celebrating Balthazar's 8-year-old wild child finally getting into first grade after failing the entrance exam for 3 years. Through the earpiece, Boss Chuck reminds him to quickly approach him to collect his fingerprints and voice. Just then, Emily spots the target. The beauty takes out her perfume, sprays it on her hand, and then approaches to strike up a conversation. True to etiquette, Balthazar took her hand and gently placed a kiss on it. After the greeting, following their superior's instructions, the two quickly made their way to the second floor and broke into the terrorist kingpin's room. Their boss warned them that if the code was wrong, they would be blown to pieces because this place had machine guns installed everywhere for protection. With the motto, "Nothing ventured, nothing gained," Emily gently placed a sticker on Balthazar's fingerprint and put it in the right position to scan. Meanwhile, Matt activated the watch that had recorded his voice to unlock it. Sure enough, the two broke through the security and quickly stole old man Balthazar's superchip key. As they were about to escape, unfortunately, they were discovered. Quick as a flash, the two teamed up and beat the goons into oblivion right on the spot. They sprinted out the back way, but two guys were asking for a health check. Who knew that with just a few basic moves, those two were already making friends with the Grim Reaper. Urgently reaching the parking lot, the duo hopped on their ride and sped away without a trace. By the time Balthazar found out, it was too late, as Matt and Emily had already flown to the airport. There, the beauty met her ex-boyfriend, Baron, who was also a secret agent. "When can we do our little thing again like the old days?" Matt immediately retorted sarcastically, "You had your chance and you blew it. Her heart belongs to me now. Sometimes girls don't like soft, white boys like you." Fuming, Baron shot back, "We had some great times together, didn't we, Emily?" Matt warned him to go home and make friends with his hand. With that, Matt boarded the plane, leaving Baron seething but helpless. On the private jet taking them back to New York, Emily suddenly asked, "You'll be the father to this child for me, right?" "No doubt about it." Immediately, she pulled out a bunch of pregnancy tests and confirmed that they were sharing a bond. "But how do you know I'm the father?" "Don't make me a cuckold." Hearing this, Emily seemed upset, but Matt quickly changed his tune. "I'm just kidding, honey. No matter whose it is, it's our child now." Getting the cow and the calf, only a scoundrel wouldn't accept that. This made Emily extremely pleased with the man she had entrusted herself to. Suddenly, she felt nauseous, due to morning sickness. The beauty needed to go to the restroom, but the flight attendant said the toilet was clogged. Realizing something was off, the two became alert. As expected, the attendant pulled out a gun and held Emily hostage. Turns out, the kingpin Balthazar had a mole in the CIA and had planted this guy to ambush them. Hand over the key before it's too late. Knowing what they wanted, Matt tossed the key toward him. Seizing the opportunity, the two coordinated with each other perfectly. Emily had a gun but didn't need bullets. She charged forward, using the guns but to beat the goons senseless. The co-pilot came rushing in but suffered the same fate. Matt gave the long-haired guy 2 punches, then smashed the other guy's head with a bottle of wine. While he was watching the lioness show off her moves, he got choked by another guy. He went ballistic, stabbing him and then smashing his face until it was unrecognizable, then slammed his head into a table as a goodbye kiss. Emily was still roughing up the co-pilot, but that bastard knocked her down and sent her gun flying. She quickly blocked to protect her lower body, then flipped around swiftly and gained the upper hand. A flight attendant woke up from his daze and grabbed a gun. He found a bullet, loaded it, aimed at Emily, and was about to sneak attack. Matt saw this and rushed in, but the gun went off and the pilot took a bullet to the head. This caused the plane to lose control and start plummeting. In this desperate situation, Matt was still roughing up the flight attendant. However, the plane hit a mountain and was about to send them all to Kingdom Come. No joke. Matt kicked the bald guy who hadn't grown hair yet to the front to scout the situation. Then, both of them realized there was a cliff ahead. If they didn't jump out of the plane quickly, this day next year would be their death anniversary. But as luck would have it, things were about to get hairy. There was only one parachute left, so Matt quickly put it on Emily, not caring about himself. However, she didn't want her child to be born without a father, so she used her long legs to grab her love and jumped out of the plane together before it burned to a crisp. Surviving the ordeal, the two landed as gently as taking a lady to poop. Amid bad luck, there was a silver lining. Matt said this was a good opportunity to start a new life. Everyone thinks we went down with the plane and burned to ashes. That's a great reason to go into hiding. I don't want our child to be born into danger. Emily agreed with this plan, and soon after, the two disappeared. After changing their names, they lived a very fulfilling life with their 2 little ones. The younger brother, Leo, was addicted to free fire, and the older sister, Alice, was going through puberty, so her temperament was a bit rebellious. Therefore, Emily wanted to keep a tight leash on these 2 ticking time bombs, lest one day her 2 little cubs turn into troublemakers. Just as Emily, a worried mother, feared it happened, Alice had a boyfriend and was even brazenly swapping spit with him in broad daylight. Matt took a look and noticed that this young man already had a mustache, which worried him greatly. Annoyed at being followed, Alice immediately called her parents and told them to go home because they were interfering in her life too much. "I won't be home tonight because I have a study group." Seeing her daughter's rebellious attitude, Emily wanted to charge in, but Matt stopped her by driving away to defuse the situation. That evening, with a mother's intuition, Emily was extremely worried, wondering if her daughter was being tricked by some boy. Just then, she accidentally saw a message notification on Alice's computer, so she opened it to sneak a peek. However, she couldn't get in because she didn't know the password. After trying 7,749 times and still failing, Emily gave up and was about to put the laptop away when she accidentally saw the words "Stupid Mom" written on the back. She tried this phrase, and it turned out to be the password, which made the beauty's blood pressure drop because of this rebellious child. She sasses her mom like a pro, but is sweet as pie to her boyfriend. After reading the messages, Emily discovered that Alice wasn't in a study group at all, but was hanging out with her delinquent friends at a nightclub. Without wasting another second, the two immediately set off to teach this daughter, who won't see reason until it's too late, a lesson. Arriving at the club and seeing the young ones partying hard, Matt and Emily couldn't believe that their little angel had become such a wild child. Quickly, the beauty spotted Alice, her blood boiling. Emily went over and yelled, "Get your ass home right now, and you, Statch boy, stay away from my daughter." Alice hadn't even had a chance to leave when she was stopped by some bouncers. "You two are too old to be here and cause trouble in this bar." Matt didn't want to make a scene, so he explained, "We just want to take our daughter home." But these good-for-nothing guys, who were blind as bats, laughed like they'd won the lottery and said, "That girl is old enough to make her own decisions. You two are not allowed to cause trouble here. You have 5 seconds to get lost." Emily, seeing red, grabbed the guy by the collar and slammed his face into the table, a painful header. When he woke up and attacked, Matt flipped him upside down and made him practice flying. Immediately after, the two continued to take down, the rest with just a few basic moves. This made everyone's jaws drop, especially Alice's. However, she was also very embarrassed in front of her boyfriend and everyone else because her parents had crashed the party. She just wanted to pull her pants over her head out of shame. Escorting their daughter home to hide their identities, the two tried to explain that they had learned Taekwondo and a few other silly martial arts moves. Then, they forbade Alice from ever going out at night again. This made her extremely angry, and she immediately stormed off inside, fuming about her incredibly difficult child. Emily told her black husband that she wanted to release the negative energy inside her. Immediately, Matt let his wife vent her anger on the boxing gloves. After showing off her moves, her mood improved. And what the two needed to do more importantly right now was to practice their one-finger zen. The next morning, their house unexpectedly had an uninvited guest, their old boss Chuck, which surprised Matt very much. He didn't understand how the old man had found them. It turned out that when Matt and Emily had a brawl in the bar, the scene of them beating up the staff was secretly filmed and uploaded to social media. Emily was also shocked. However, before they could invite their superior inside, Chuck asked about the whereabouts of the super chip key. Matt and Emily tried to explain that it had turned to ashes in the plane crash, but Chuck didn't believe it and replied, "That box is indestructible. We searched the crash site, but it's still missing." Suddenly, the old man took a bullet and died instantly. It turned out that outside, the assassins of the terrorist kingpin Balthazar had been lying in wait there for who knows how long. Immediately, they fired a hail of bullets into the house to hunt down Emily and Matt. It would be stupid to go hand-to-hand against assassins armed to the teeth, so the two quickly went down to the basement, grabbed their pre-packed bags, and got in the car to make their escape. They put the car in reverse to get out of there, but then the engine stalled. Seeing this, the goons surrounded the car, but inside, there was nothing, not a soul to be found. It turned out that they had used a hose to fill the gas pedal to create a decoy car, while Matt and Emily were actually in the fancy car behind it, immediately steering away to escape this place. However, the henchmen of the kingpin Balthazar wouldn't give up that easily. After being chased closely and having their way blocked, Emily showed off her drifting skills with a sharp turn. Because she had a grudge against some neighbor's gardener, she rammed through all the fences. Getting back on the road, Emily sent one car into a ditch for a cool bath. "We have to go to England to get the key. I wonder if my mom has sold the house yet." It turned out that 15 years ago, before the plane burned to ashes, Matt quickly grabbed the key and pocketed it. Then the two returned to England, went to where Emily's mom was living, and hid the key in an abandoned cellar. The more they ran, the more those bastards clung on like hungry leeches. One even popped up and fired, shattering the window. While he was reloading, Matt dropped Mentos into a bottle of soda, screwed the cap on, and threw it into the driver's compartment. As the foam sprayed everywhere, Emily swerved, causing their car to lose control, crash into a truck, roll several times in the air, and then land smashed like chili paste. Successfully shaking off the pursuers, the two sped off to Alice and Leo's school. They quickly went inside and demanded that the two troublemakers get in the car. This made Alice, once again, just want to crawl into a hole to avoid embarrassing herself in front of her friends. Soon after, Everyone was at the airport. Emily hastily explained, "We're going to England to visit your grandma, that's all." Alice was a bit confused. "We have a grandma? But you said grandma passed away before we were even born." Emily continued, "I'm sorry I lied about that. She sent me to a boarding school to become a spy, so I just wanted to forget about her." Ignoring the two kids, who were slower than a snail, the flight still had to take off. After landing safely in England, Emily was showing her passport to a female airport security officer. Unfortunately, the surveillance cameras detected the two. Seeing this, Matt quickly got the whole family onto a bus. Sure enough, right after that, the CIA intelligence force, led by Barron, arrived at the scene. Through the camera, he recognized his ex-girlfriend Emily and his old rival. However, it was too late, so Barron ordered his colleague, a black woman, to lock down the entire city to capture them. On the bus, unexpectedly, the henchmen of the terrorist kingpin Balthazar were also following them. Matt saw a man parking his car to get on the bus and came up with a plan. Emily immediately understood, so the two decided to get the kids off the bus, pretending to bump into the man, but in reality, she was pickpocketing, getting the keys from the unfortunate old man. Matt then borrowed this car without a return date. They had transportation to Grandma's house, but the car was about to run out of gas. So, Matt decided to stop at a roadside station to refuel and let the two little cubs grab a bite. However, this might have been a mistake. Not only had the old man Balthazar caught wind of their whereabouts, but Emily's ex-boyfriend Barron also received a tip-off. At this moment, the two kids were ordering food inside, while Matt and Emily were pumping gas and chatting outside. Suddenly, some guys in a big SUV came to surround them. Seeing the wolf head tattoos on their necks, Matt immediately guessed that these were the assassins of the evil old man. Without a word, the two began to take action. Matt lit a cigarette and turned the gas pump nozzle into a flamethrower, roasting two guys until well done. Emily picked up a hammer and started smashing these guys. Witnessing their parents being like war gods, Alice and Leo were astonished. A guy with a gun tried to sneak attack Matt, but Emily quickly came to his rescue. Suddenly, a guy turned off the gas valve, making the flamethrower useless. He choked another until he passed out, then splashed some gas in his face to finish him off, and for good measure, gave him a few more whacks. A female assassin came to check on Emily's health, but she was just a mosquito. She couldn't even touch a single curly hair of the beauty before getting utterly destroyed. Seeing Matt struggling with three guys, without waiting another second, Emily came to her husband's aid, kicking them without missing a beat. The bald guy was thrown into the back of a car. The guy with a bad attitude was picked up by the collar and slammed to the ground. Done with that, Matt ran inside to tell the two kids to get moving. The two siblings kept asking what was going on, but Emily could only answer, "You'll find out when we get to Grandma's." About to take off, they saw this guy waking up. So Emily made a cool turn and then steered onto the highway. It was worse than bad luck when they were about to leave. Her ex-boyfriend Barron and the CIA force showed up. With no other choice, the two had to run. To shake off these guys, Emily drove close to a truck carrying pipes, creating an opportunity for Matt to act. With his sharpshooting skills, he shot off the chains and then punctured the truck's tire, creating an insurmountable obstacle. This made Barron furious because they had lost the tail. Returning to the gas station after investigating, Barron and the black woman discovered that the henchmen of Old Man Balthazar were also hunting for the super chip key. Besides, an agent also detected a signal coming from the boy Leo's gaming device. With the location, Barron ordered his subordinates to block the roads to capture the target. On the other side, after the two cubs' interrogation, Matt revealed the truth that their parents used to be rapid response agents for the CIA, and those guys were terrorists. Hearing this, Alice and Leo exclaimed that they never knew their parents were as cool as a cucumber. Suddenly, Matt discovered that his son was online with his gaming device. To avoid trouble, he threw it out onto the road, and it unfortunately fell right into a truck going in the opposite direction, which accidentally misled the CIA's pursuit. The next morning, the whole family arrived at Grandma's house. After entering the passcode, which was her birthday, Emily opened the gate and went inside as if she owned the place. Alice and Leo were stunned by the gigantic mansion. Then a gunshot rang out and a bird fell. It turned out that it was the former sniper of the British Secret Intelligence Service, and also Emily's mother. After she introduced her two grandchildren, the grandmother didn't seem surprised and said, "My son-in-law sends me pictures of them every day." Emily didn't know about this because she had cut off contact with her mother long ago. After entering the house, what surprised everyone was that Grandma had a boyfriend. It was none other than the mustached man, who, after failing to win over Emily, had turned to conquer her mother. It truly is a case of old cows liking young grass, and kids liking to play with antiques, making everyone's jaws drop in astonishment. Disgusted by this Beauty and the Beast couple, Emily was speechless, suddenly having to call the man who once pursued her dad. After the mustached man took the two kids on a tour of the building, Matt and Emily revealed the truth that they were being hunted by terrorists. "Are you trying to destroy my house?" No wonder the fortune teller said you were a dutiful child. Frustrated with this mother-daughter relationship, Emily bluntly said it was worse than when her mother abandoned her to pursue her career. "I heard that Alice probably hates you even more than you hate me." Hearing that, Emily immediately retorted, "I'm different from you, Mom. I gave up my career for these two kids, retired to become an ordinary citizen, and always want to give them the best." Right at this moment, Alice was outside and heard everything. She finally understood why her mother had been so strict with her all this time. After being lectured by her mother, Matt and Emily went to the back of the building and found the place where they had hidden the Super VIP key 15 years ago. Sure enough, the box had protected this technological weapon all these years. On the other side, Special Agent Barron found Leo's gaming device, but unfortunately, it was on a truck. However, his black female colleague used a satellite system and discovered that the Range Rover that Matt had jacked from the old man at the bus station was at a mansion in the suburbs. And the owner of this house was none other than Ginny, the legendary sniper of British intelligence. Emily was her daughter, and they were there. Knowing this, Barron ordered all elite forces to capture Matt and Emily before the Kingpin Balthazar could act. On the other side, Mustache Man was showing off the superb knife-throwing skills he had practiced for 20 years to young Leo. "Don't try it. You can't do it like me." Just then, the boy threw one right on target, making Mustache Man quite embarrassed. Then he continued to brag, "I'm a martial arts genius, got a black belt in karate when I was 3. Before graduating kindergarten, I was directly recruited into the FBI, but I like to wander, so I've been roaming the underworld like this. I even have iron skin. If you don't believe me, try it out." Meeting a daredevil, Mustache Man charged in, but Leo unleashed a punch as heavy as 1,000 pounds, nearly knocking his lights out. When everyone wasn't paying attention, the assassins of the terrorist Kingpin Balthazar arrived. As quickly as ex-lovers turned on each other, they broke through the gate and entered openly. Another team snuck in through the back door, catching the grandparents and grandkids completely off guard. Matt and Emily heard the helicopter and rushed out, guessing something was wrong, so they returned to the house. Seeing her mother and her lover had been restrained, Emily cut the ropes for her. What the two didn't expect was that outside, Alice and Leo had also been taken hostage. Knowing what they wanted, the black guy pulled out the super chip key in exchange for the safety of the two children. Seeing the guards dressed in a style similar to special forces, the two thought they were Barron's troops, but it turned out to be their old boss Chuck. Surprise, surprise, old friends. He died in front of their house, but now he was standing there like a turd, which confused Matt and Emily greatly. Not understanding what the hell was going on, the old man revealed, "Sorry for deceiving you two. The one who shot me was the bald guy standing right here. The bullet was just a small firecracker attached to my chest. 15 years ago, after you two, along with the super chip key, starred in the movie Missing, I was fired from the CIA for being your superior. So, I joined the Kingpin Balthazar to make ends meet. Come on, hand over the key, or I'll show you your grave." Having no other choice, Matt gave it to him. Then he handed it to the tomboy girl to check if it was real or fake. In the kitchen, after rescuing the young lover, Grandma Ginny kissed her lover. Not wanting to waste time, the U-80 sharpshooter opened a secret compartment in the kitchen cabinet and took out 2 tranquilizer guns. Then, with perfect aim, she gifted the 2 doorkeepers a long, eternal sleep. To lure them in, she sprayed cooking oil and soy sauce on the floor and turn on the oven. Sure enough, one guy who charged and got a knife as a souvenir. The other got a pan to the head and then had his hand roasted, screaming in pain. Outside, the tomboy girl just confirmed it was a real deal when she heard gunshots. Understanding the cue, Matt and Emily also counterattacked. However, they were too many and had hostages, so the couple didn't dare to act rashly. I just want the key and will ensure the safety of the two kids. Don't even think about calling the police, or they'll get their heads blown off, understand? After saying that, Chuck took the kids outside and boarded a helicopter to escape, then knocked out the couple to make sure they wouldn't follow. Waking up from the daze, the two had lost track of the children. The only clue was a security camera. Matt, with his eagle eyes, noticed that the young fool Leo was acting strangely. Emily immediately guessed that the boy was referring to the health tracking ring with GPS on his thumb. After logging into the account, the two determined that Leo and Alice's location was in the largest shopping mall in London. It turned out that Chuck had betrayed them. He wanted to outsmart the terrorist kingpin, Balthazar, so he organized an auction for the superchip key there. To avoid being double-crossed, Chuck gave the key to his subordinate, the tomboy girl, to control it from another secret room. Receiving this news, the evil old man was furious and sent assassins to hunt down Chuck. Matt and Emily had also arrived. Due to tight security, they had to leave their weapons outside. However, once inside, they didn't know where Leo and Alice were because this place was too huge. On the top floor, before the auction, Chuck invited everyone to witness the power of the key. First, he ordered the tomboy girl to turn off the building's lights, then the entire city of London in a heartbeat. Not stopping there, Chuck also opened the floodgates of the Atlantic, threatening to drown the city. The operators detected the intrusion but were helpless, which made the terrorists extremely excited, bidding up to $250 million. Below, Matt saw some of Chuck's henchmen and followed them. Then, they took them down in the elevator without anyone noticing. Seeing 5 assassins blocking their way, the two continued to fight. Emily unleashed her divine Muay Thai, smashing one guy's head in a glass cabinet, then continued to give the others a good beating. Grabbing 2 light sticks, Matt and Emily beat the goons to a pulp, truly living up to their reputation as the Iron Duo. In just a few hits, these guys were all down on the floor. Some high-level assassins came out, but were just small fries. They seemed tough, but turned out to be weaklings. They didn't even need weapons. Just working together and using their fists was enough to send these guys to the underworld. Done with that, the two were about to run to Chuck when Baron stopped them. Thinking he wouldn't let them go, Matt said, "Please let us rescue the 2 kids." However, Baron replied, "I know you two don't have the key anymore, so I don't care," saying that he immediately rushed inside, appearing like a god and beating these guys black and blue. The black woman was also a top-notch fighter, no joke. However, Chuck quickly escaped through the stairwell. Matt and Emily immediately gave chase. As he ran, he ordered his henchmen to take the kids to a yacht. Sure enough, they had prepared in advance. Matt and Emily chased after them, but it was too late. To make matters worse, 2 assassins of the kingpin Balthazar had also arrived. They thought the two had the key, so they blocked their way. In a hurry and met with 2 idiots. Luckily, the U-80 sharpshooter was sniping from afar, restraining them, so the two had a chance to leave. Borrowing 2 motorbikes, Matt and Emily immediately chased the yacht. However, this guy called his buddies for help. Chuck ordered the tomboy girl to quickly bring the key to the harbor to escape together. It turned out that he had opened the Atlantic floodgates, not only to show off the power of the key, but also to have an escape route. However, where there's a will, there's a way. Great-Grandma Ginny had discovered it and ordered her mustache lover to be ready. "Okay, my love, as long as you like it, I'll do it." Sure enough, a while later, the tomboy girl packed her bags and left. If it was a direct fight, Mustache Man wouldn't stand a chance. So, he waited until she drove out, and then he accelerated and rammed the back of her car until it was totaled. Accomplishing a feat without breaking a sweat, Mustache Man was overjoyed because usually he was a useless guy. Outside, Matt and Emily were being chased closely by the assassins of Old Man Balthazar, so they decided to split up to act more efficiently. Truly living up to his reputation as a street racer, Matt held a memorial service for one guy. While speeding up, he was blocked by 2 guys. He swerved the bike, making them crippled and broken. Not giving up, he continued to chase after them. Emily was no less impressive. She weaved like frying an egg on the road to dodge bullets. One guy got close, but the beauty gently pushed him straight into the iron fence and then ground his jaw on the road. When a guy blocked her way and fired bullets, Emily rode her trusty steed towards him, making him kiss the tire spectacularly. Running out of time, she jumped into the river and borrowed a canoe. Seeing Matt cluelessly above, she called him to come down quickly. Making a cool wheelie, he ditched the bike, and Emily picked him up to chase after Chuck. Since the barrier was open, the river connected to the Pacific Ocean. He just needed to go through, and he would be scot-free. But unfortunately, Matt and Emily had arrived just in time, closing in on him. Emily and Matt managed to jump onto the boat. The two rushed in to deal with two assassins with glowing heads by beating them relentlessly. Another guy tried to take Alice hostage, but her younger brother Leo grabbed a fire extinguisher and knocked him overboard. After beating up these guys, Matt and Emily also threw them into the sea to befriend Aquaman. Above, Grandma Ginny understood the problem and ordered Mustache Man to close the floodgate system. However, this guy was only good at being useless. He was second to none in uselessness, so he messed up the system. In a moment of desperate frustration, he angrily hit it, and it turned out to work perfectly. Then, he pressed the enter key, and the floodgate system was raised miraculously. Seeing it was too dangerous, after putting on a life jacket, Emily let Alice into the water. Leo, being brave, took care of himself. Matt blocked Chuck. "You dared to harm my children, so the only way out is a coffin." Emily also landed a hit, then both jumped down. The unmanned yacht crashed straight into the floodgate, creating a terrible explosion and turning Chuck into fish food. Finally, it was all over. The police arrived, but were always the last to show up. Matt praised his son for being brave today and doing the unimaginable. Alice also understood the love her mother had for her. Besides, the beauty also forgave Grandma Ginny for the past. The super chip key was handed over to the CIA, so the Kingpin Balthazar was now just a name. The next day, the whole family went to school to watch Alice play in a soccer game. She scored the winning goal, a truly fantastic moment of glory. After Matt and Emily got in the car and were about to share a happy kiss, Baron suddenly appeared. He invited the two to return to the CIA to deal with the Kingpin Balthazar and other terrorists. "He harmed my family, so I can't refuse." This film shows us that there are still many evil people in this world who will do anything for money. However, justice will always prevail, and the law is strict, so no one can escape. Therefore, let us all be good citizens and respect the law. That's all for now. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to watch more exciting videos.